It has taken far too long, but finally Hexton Hills is launching their Sci-Fi Hex Kickstarter. I'm Matthew from MiniWarGaming. I absolutely I just love maps in role-playing games and miniature war games. I love it when you're reading a fantasy novel and at the very beginning there's a map that kind of gives you everything. I think maps just add so much to the experience. So a few years ago, there was a company called Wargaming Guild, and they did a Kickstarter for what they called Hexton Hills. And it is a range of 3D printable hexes. You can print them either in an FDM printer or resin. They're compatible with both. For the most part, there's some of the really specialty tiles that are better printed in resin. And you could make maps. Now, they were originally designed for role-playing games, so you can have a map for your players, like a hex crawl kind of thing, where they're going along roads, or they're along mountains, or they're in cities, or whatever it happens to be. But they work really, really well for campaigns for miniature war games. But the big thing is, they were all fantasy. Fantastic fantasy, but fantasy nonetheless. And they took their time building more and more of these, making the epic cities that allow you to create entire cities with walls and different districts and everything. But now we've got sci-fi! And sci-fi is so exciting because obviously more of our viewers are into games like Warhammer 40K than they are into fantasy or Age of Sigmar. And it just opens it up to so much more. You want to play Necromunda? Well, they have a wasteland set of tiles that emulate all of those post-apocalyptic cities. Do you want to play a really cool campaign of Warhammer 40K? Well, now they have things like spaceports and defense batteries, and even hive cities, which are created so that you can build them the way you want. And they have stackable hive cities so they can get nice and big and then spread out and just make some really beautiful things. I've actually created several planets for a future narrative campaign that I'm planning, and I've blended the existing fantasy tiles because, you know, plains and mountains and hills are not really fantasy, they're just geography. And I was able to blend those with sci-fi and make a set of unique planets. One being a jungle world, another one being a hive world, another one being a grave moon. What's the word? It's just where the entire moon is one big graveyard. Another one that's a mine, and another one that is an agro world, where it's one gigantic farm to feed dozens, if not hundreds, of different systems out there. I just love that kind of stuff. I've built a huge map for the old world. It's literally a map of the old world. And here's the cool thing about these hexes, that you can, if you're printing them in resin, you can scale them down and have super fine detail. So the one that you're looking at right now is the old world map that was scaled down to 50%. Whereas these planets were scaled down to 75%. And then the original Age of Sigmar narrative map that I did was at the full 100%. And so you can do whatever you want. You can get as granular or make them a hex crawl. They even come with the ability to add flags, or even play them as Settlers of Catan, however you want to do it. And as long as you have a 3D printer, you can make as many of these as you want. So I'm hoping that you'll back this Kickstarter because we're partnered with them. And so we actually are working together to make this as big a thing as possible. So not only will you be supporting Wargaming Guild, but you'll be supporting MiniWarGaming. Now, a lot of you don't have 3D printers, totally get it. You can grab the STLs at the lower price that they'll be available in the Kickstarter, and then you can buy a printer. I do have a free how to 3D print terrain course that's already out, and that basically is good for this if you're going to be printing them with FDM printers. And soon I'll be coming out eventually with a how to 3D print with resin as well, which I'm hoping to do soon in the next couple of months. That'll help you to learn all that. So I'll put links below to those free courses so you can register for them and get access to the one right away and get access to the other one later on. But that'll allow you to just get right into 3D printing. But if you don't want to, if you're one of those people that just have no interest in doing any 3D printing whatsoever, then don't worry, we're going to sell them physically in the MiniWarGaming Forge once it's all done. We're not doing it during the Kickstarter because we're just too busy right now with Adepticon and other things that are coming up. But we already do sell the fantasy ones in the Forge, and we will sell the sci-fi ones as well. So it's a little bit for everybody. So if you're like me and you love maps, make sure you back this Kickstarter. It'll help a small business to grow, because these two guys are passionate. Dan and Jax, the owners of Wargaming Guild, absolutely passionate about this. You should see the meticulous amount of time and work they put into every single hex. So go check it out. Links below to get notified when it's going to launch, and happy wargaming.